the other night was Nate. Have you seen him refocus on certain things to try to get himself out of an admitted slump during the early part of the season?
Yeah, what did he say?
He just said he just got even more mad about being in the slump.
You know, one thing, you know, it's when you're in a rut, you know, a lot of times, you know, and not just in athletics, but you end up spinning yourself into the ground. I think Nate, you know, we sat down and talked a couple of days ago prior to the last game. Said, look, just play. Stop thinking. Stop worrying about what you're not doing well, what you want to do. Just play hard, play with a lot of energy, and things will work themselves out. And that's easy for a coach to say, but I think he actually tried to go out and do that. Just focus on energy, effort, and you know, things turned out okay.
Was he trying to do too much? I mean, was it kind of one of those?
Prior to that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so at all.
Do you think he was
Did it look like that?
I think he kind of hinted towards that, like maybe he was trying to take on too much. Or
Did it look like that?
No.
Yeah. You probably worded that question such that he kind of just went along with it.
Possibly. Yeah. So he wasn't doing enough then?
No, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, I think that, you know, if you fall into what should I do instead of just let me go. I mean, Nate brings an aggression that we need. Nate brings a post presence, a presence on the boards, effort, energy level that we need. And when things aren't going well, you start thinking, just do that. Just do that. So that's what we just talked about. And that's what he was. Oh, he was cut.
That was kind of my question. Did you see him?
You like that, didn't you?
Did you see him maybe passing up shots that he should have been taking it? You know, he's wide open. Do you feel like he was doing that during this?
Well, I think that he was going through a stretch where he was missing shots, and so you start missing, you get nervous to shoot. You start thinking about shooting, and even if I mean, he's a good player, he's a good passer. He understands what's going on. So even if you don't want, it's a big difference between I'm open, they're not really guarding me, I'm not going to shoot. Let me just swing it. Or, okay, they're not going to guard me, then let me attack. I can still create and make plays happen without shooting a three-point shot. And so I think that he did that a couple of times the other day also.
Is there anything to the sophomore slump? Is that a myth, or does that really happen? It seems like, as a sports writer for 15 years, that really does happen to second-year players. They just they come in with a different, you know, maybe different expectations, or teams know how to, you know, the other teams now have a little bit of tape on them, and it's different for them. Is this just to that? And did it affect Nate?
You've done the 15 years worth of research. I haven't. I don't know. I mean, I can, you know, as I sit here and I go through players that I've coached, there's definitely been a lot where you can say sophomore. Some people have had junior slumps, freshman slumps, senior slumps. So I think if you can maybe make a case for each year. So I'm not sure whether there is anything to that. You know, I'm just hoping that, or I'm confident, I should say, not hoping, that whatever he was going through, he's worked his way through. It's over.
He and Otto seemed to have some really good chemistry there. There was a stretch in the second half where I think Nate assisted him too, and then he returned the favor a little bit later. Did you see something there that maybe in practice, or what do you think of their chemistry? Maybe is that something you want to exploit in the future?
No, I think that both of those guys, you play well with other people, and so I think that's just happened for that stretch right there, and then they got tired and asked to come out. We couldn't get that mojo back, but you know, I don't think that's abnormal, and I don't think that was anything unique to those two guys. Both of those guys are helpers, and as well as they have a very good feel for the game, and so they just happen to play off each other in those situations the other day.
Has he done the behind-the-back pass in practice? Is that something you guys have seen before?
Yes.
Okay.
Did he do it in the game the other day?
Henry's.
But see, the thing with that is, though, and I remember the plays in front of our bench.
Right.
That was the right pass to make.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't necessarily a fancy, but I mean, the people were sitting on this side of him, and that was the right pass to make at that time. He's capable of doing it.
In terms of the field goal percentages, Henry's is the one in the Big East play that has dropped noticeably. Is that just the other day? I think you said you were comfortable. I think it was maybe the Marquette game or Providence. You were comfortable with the shots he was getting, and just weren't going in. Do you just kind of still feel that way about his opportunities? Is he maybe a little too far away from the basket for you at times?
No, I don't think he's too far away from the basket. As you were saying, I mean, the timing of some of his shots the last couple of games might not have been the right timing, based on what was happening in the Florida game. But I don't think that for the most part, I don't think he's taking bad shots. You pose that question if you think he is.
I don't have 15 years of sports writing experience to fall back.
There were a few jumpers that raised my eyebrows.
I felt like he changed, like from the way he was maybe in game 1 or 2.
That was weak, man.
From maybe early in like the immediate start to the season, and then he played so well, and then it's almost like he's gotten more touches, and now it's maybe there's that. I need to figure out what the balance here between taking the first look that I get versus.
Is he? And this is. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know. Is he taking more shots now than he did earlier in the year?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I can go back and look, but it certainly feels that way.
Okay. So now, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Originally?
You may not want to go
Well,
back to
well,
that.
this is sort of, when I was talking to Henry about it, and the one observation I have is that in non-conference play, when teams don't know him as well, they don't realize he's such a good passer from the high post in particular, so they kind of play up on him, assuming, taking away the shot, he passed. In conference play, he has said as much as well, the defenders are laying off him, thus taking away the pass and maybe giving him the opportunity to think, okay, I'm open, let's take a shot.
And I disagree with what he said. Yancey played him like that the other day. That was the first time anyone's played him like that. On Henry's 4 or 5 turnovers, his own man is actually the one that stole. I mean, Yancey was playing him to pass. I don't think we've seen that I know we haven't seen that other than that one game this year. Now, that being said, it's a natural progression. We played someone earlier in the year, it might have been Horace Broadnax, who said, everyone you in the scouting report. And so that happens. As you play well,
right.
As people realize you can, whatever your strength is, and or weakness, as the season progresses, teams look to exploit it and they'll pay attention to it more. And so people know Henry is a passer. They're probably more attentive when he gets the ball down there. Now the answer isn't, and this is to your point, I agree, he took several shots that were too quick for the level of which he was open. If that makes sense. Like I don't mind quick shots, but I want good shots, not just because you can get them off. I hope I answered.
Kind of an obvious question, but I mean, how?
Have you already written?
No, that's just maybe a little bit. I mean, how important is it for Nate to keep this going, to keep getting speed rebounds, as opposed to what he was before, which is, there were a couple of no rebounds, 1 rebound.
Well, that's Nate. That can't happen.
Yeah.
That can't happen. Where he goes and has some no and 1 rebound games. It can't happen that Henry has more turnovers than rebounds. Those things cannot happen. Now, as it relates to Nate specifically, if he plays with that zest and that energy, that will happen. He will get the rebounds. He'll make his presence felt on the game. And I mean, he's a sophomore. That's the point of the article. But and he's still, you go through where you're playing poorly and you just wander and feel some time, spent too much time. He did feeling sorry for himself. Now let's just go play. Just go play.
Anything on Tyler?
No, I thought about it as I was walking down the hall. So I don't have specific timetable, but in general, this is what has happened. When the situation with Tyler first happened, I think they told us it was going to be 10 days to 2 weeks. Then we're going to go back and run some more tests, and we'll know then. As we've gone along, they said, no, we want significantly longer to wait before we make any decisions one way or another. So I honestly don't know that there's a set, I can't sit here and say, on January 22nd,
right,
we're going to take him to the doctor and we're going to know. But it's just, they run a series of tests. They want to wait a period of time, look at him again, then we'll wait a period of time, keep looking at him. So there is nothing new. I'm not trying to hold anything. It's just the doctors have decided to prolong the period of testing and evaluating.
At this point, I mean, are you going to request a petition to the NCAA for a redshirt?
You don't have to do that till after their 4 years of eligibility is up, so we get time to figure that out.
When you're talking about Henry, and then now that people know, what he can do and the team on his weaknesses and his strengths, whatever, how do you get past that next step? Like, how do you, when a player does that, has the hot start, and then teams have the tape and can adjust. How do you push through that? Would you keep trying to go to their strengths, or do you try to adapt, or how would you do it?
Both. In that, just because they know, Akeem Olajuwon had 2 moves, dream shake right and dream shake left, couldn't stop it. So just because they know what's coming, or know what his strengths are, and that's not meant to be an insult in any way. Let's make that clear. Because I ended with they couldn't stop it. Just because they know what his strengths are doesn't necessarily mean you can stop it, or we can't put him in positions where he still can go to what he's successful at. Now that being said, there's a level of hardness, there's a level of understanding that he has to have, and we do have as a team that it's not, certain things may not be as easy, certain portions of what we do, certain looks that we got early in the shot clock the first part of the year may not be there early in the shot clock this part of the year. Other things will be, in those same looks may be open later in the clock. It's twofold. There is an adjustment, but at the same time, you don't totally say, ooh, you know what you're doing, so stop doing that.